In an incredible display of air power, cyber power, space power, sea power, land power, basically joint forces power, the United States military has captured and extradited Nicholas Maduro in Venezuela. Let's take a look at some of the videos and talk about some of the details.
3, 2, 1, fight off.
Okay, so this is all video that has been on X that we've seen. There's been some airstrikes, strategic targets, stuff like that. That's it's crazy in today's world. You know, you see these images and you're like, wow, you know, this is age of social media. We're getting this in almost real time. Yeah, close the door. Probably not. Yeah, look at the secondaries on that. This is probably the most chilling if you're Venezuelan seeing, well, you're probably hearing Fortunate Son play, but you're seeing the Night Stalkers, the 160th, basically unmolested. I believe the final tally was one aircraft was damaged and one service member injured, and that's it. No U.S. casualties. And they successfully retrieved Maduro and his wife. This right here, some helicopter, some have said AH-64 could be a little bird, shooting both the gun and rockets, which, if it's the Apache, man, I'm curious how they got him there. Did they land him on the Iwo Jima, or I don't know if they have the legs to do this, but definitely there was a lot of air-to-surface engagements at close range with rockets. And then here's a zoomed-out view of that engagement we just saw. I mean, just very precise. A little bit of overcast. The weather wasn't clear in a million. I know the moon illumination was high because it was almost a full moon, but with the overcast layer, that kind of negates that slightly. And then about 2 hours ago, there's video of 4 F-16s taken out of El Libertado Air Base, flying low. These are the F-16s they were heading south. So are they defecting? Because there's no word of any air-to-air kills on either side. Definitely not on the American side, but none on the, I don't know that any got shot down through this. Obviously, this is very new. But I took some notes from the briefing, and I kind of wanted to talk about it because, I mean, this is the kind of stuff you spend your whole career training for. Not only do you spend your whole career training for it, but even in professional military education, Air Command and Staff College, all the higher level stuff, all the joint forces, joint planning, joint everything. This is what we kind of scoff, but this is what it is. This is what Red Flag's about. This is what all the integration exercises are about. This is a finely tuned, well orchestrated operation. It's called Operation Absolute Resolve. Basically, President Trump said that all the military was rendered powerless. It was in the dead of the night. They turned all the lights off, which goes to some of the capabilities that are out there. They were ready for us, so it wasn't hugely surprising since we'd been staging off the coast for a while. But no equipment lost, no one lost. They launched out of, I think they said 20 different bases, 150 different aircraft were involved in this. President Trump gave the authorization at 10:46 Eastern time, so 22:46, said good luck and Godspeed, which, wow, right? You're training for this for weeks. I mean, remember all the buildup we've talked about. They've had the Marine F-35s at Puerto Rico. Vermont sent their F-35s. The Growlers have been there. The Raptors have been there. Ospreys are down there. There's all kinds of different stuff that's staging there, waiting for the green light, and they get the good luck and Godspeed. and then 20 different bases. So that's not just that out of Puerto Rico. You're talking from aircraft carriers. The B-1s were involved, other bases, surveillance aircraft, all this stuff. Brazen Kane, the chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff, said F-22, F-35, F-18, so from the carrier, EA-18, so the Growler, B-1, E-2 Hawkeye, which Wombat will love, other aircraft and drones. There's some video of an RQ-170 landing or in the pattern out there. Not sure if it's associated or what. But they used every component possible. CIA, NSA, NGA, Space Force, which most people don't even know what the Space Force does, but they obviously did some good work here. The cyber commands, all of it, which that's why it was so effective. And that's why nobody can touch this, right? Because when you do a mission like this, suppression of enemy air defenses, everybody's talking about the S-300 or the SA-10. Double-digit SAMs are very dangerous. AAA, so anti-aircraft artillery and mobile SAMs, they took them out. This protection force for these helicopters basically took it out and established air superiority. Raptors are there in case anybody launches, which you got to know that something's happening in order to launch. And if your lights out and your comms are out, there's no communication, right? You take down the C2, you don't know what to launch on. And why would you? Because the Raptors are out there spawn camping. They're out there ready to take you down. The F-35 and the Growler combo is the best suppression of enemy air defense in the world. And I know I make fun of the F-35 because it's Fat Amy, because it's not the best looking jet, but it is the most capable. And this shows you how capable that aircraft is. All of the things that happen are a result of the training and the technology of these pilots, the maintainers that got them airborne, the intel that got them the correct information, and the weaponeering and knowing where to strike and how to use all those sensors, how to use that together. There's nothing better in the world than what they used. And F-35, F-22 is a very formidable pair. So, especially with the Growler out there. But they talked about they infiltrated 100 feet above the water and then used terrain masking through the terrain. And then when they went feet dry in the terrain, they realized, hey, they're still unaware. And at that point, tactical air was overhead doing suppression of enemy air defenses and doing the I guess counter air role if any of the F-16s or Su-30s took off. But we showed that video. I don't think any of them did. I think those are defectors more than likely, because now we have control. He talked about in the briefing that we have control and we're going to do a peaceful transition of power. That looks like defection to me, but I don't know. It's just an opinion. But they got to the compound. So they get the order at 10 o'clock. And then they arrive at the compound at 0101 Eastern time. So not very long for a mission, right? That's 0201 local time. And then they are exfilling at 0329 Eastern time. So the whole thing took less than 3 hours to go in, snatch a president of a country and bring him to justice. I mean, that is incredible. They said the oldest dude out there was 49 years old. Youngest was 20 as far as the aircrew side. So 49, probably one of the Vermont Guard guys, if I had to guess. But it could be an active duty dude. But I would imagine it's probably one of the Guard bubbas, which good on him, man. That's the experience you want out there. The other thing, to note is that this is proof that helicopter aviation is not dead. Everybody says, oh, helicopters, we need to get rid of them. I think this is a case study and why that's not valid, that we still need Army helicopters. So we still need the 160th, the most professional. It's also the SFODD. That's who did it. The Delta boys, the D boys, Delta did it. And true professionals. They got the job done, and they got it done professionally, quickly. They're probably not going to write a book about it, but I think this would make a great movie. So Joint is the buzzword. And I think that even though we're fighter pilots and all we care about is pulling G's, turn and burn, all that stuff, this is what wins wars. And it shows the absolute awesome capability and firepower and ability to go in 3 hours and do this. It's incredible. Great job. I hope that he talked about a second wave. I'm glad the second wave didn't need to. I mean, obviously you always have contingencies. And I hope this doesn't escalate into a long drawn out conflict or engagement or trying to hold ground or anything like that. I hope it really is as simple as they talked about. But that's the information that we know. Maduro and his wife were both indicted in the Southern District of New York for narco-terrorism. So they'll be put on trial. But from a military perspective, good job, boys and girls. This was incredible. And this is what we train for. This is everything, every joint pub you've ever read, every joint exercise. 150 aircraft is a complicated event. And I think at the end, some of the spotters on X were talking about in that area, they were listening to emergency fuel calls and problems because while it was executed flawlessly in the AOR, the area of responsibility, landing, ATC couldn't handle it. And they had trouble sequencing everybody and stuff. So, you know, we run into issues and fighters don't have a lot of gas. So I'm sure that they made it work and probably were sucking some seat cushion there at the end. If they were men fuel, probably didn't happen without tankers. Nobody kicks ass without tanker gas. So kudos to the tanker bubbas that made this work. AWACS, all the different 3-letter agencies, just incredible work. And I'm sure we'll find out more details as time goes on. So let me know in the comments what you think. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.